Welcome to the Redmen TV. It's the Uncensored match build-up show. Liverpool taking on Villarreal in the semi-final first leg of the Europa League. We've got Chris here, we've got Aubrey here, and we've got Mia as well. Hey. Let's talk about it.
Just cheer yourself.
I just cheered the collective, Chris.
It sounded like he was cheering.
I know.
It did sound like that, but...
Go ahead, Paul. Yes. Who was it we were listening to? Someone did that. Stan Collymore. Stan Collymore's radio broadcasting where he said he basically answered his own question, then commended himself for his answer of his question.
Should he be scoring that? Yes, he should. Well done, Stan. It was it wasn't as bad as that, but it was very, very similar to that, wasn't it?
So, Chris, I mean, this is it really, isn't it? You know, the Premier League, whatever hopes or ambitions we have for the Premier League this season, we're putting them to bed for at least a few months, I suspect. Villarreal, it's not the time for overconfidence, but actually, I guess the Newcastle result probably helps with that to some extent.
It's definitely going to bring us back down to earth, isn't it? I think I'm really surprised actually that you've started the show with not the time for overconfidence, because I was really expecting the biggest game of the year again, because I've seen that a few times, and probably on the final word, like their one would have been like, or the Uncensored match build-up show for Newcastle, is this another dead rubber game? Villarreal, man, this is what it is all pointing towards now. Everybody in our squad will be focused massively on this game. Every Liverpool fan in the world pretty much had an eye on Villarreal last night because they were on Sky Sports. When this is Anfield, they're tweeting out like, go and watch Villarreal, they're on Sky Sports too now. And I'm like, okay, no problem, I'm mobilised. Yeah. And that's what and then you go and sit and watch a shit 0-0 game. Nice one for that, by the way, this is Anfield. But, you know, everybody's there trying to get... just glean some information about Villarreal, because, you know, I don't watch Villarreal. They're fourth in La Liga. They've almost cemented their place now, but I think anyone who watched that game last night will know that they've got one eye on Thursday as well. Yeah. And rightfully so, because it's just as big a game for us as it is for them. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've said not the time for overconfidence, but I think it is the time for confidence, isn't it, Aubrey, to be fair? You know, I know Newcastle sapped that to some extent, but we didn't lose that game for the start. But also, you know, look, it's time for us to start. Look, whether we win it or not, we should still go into it excited and confident, because Villarreal is a very, very tough team for us to have to face. We are away from home in the first leg. But, you know, and we have got injury problems. These are all things that could count against us, but we've got a great manager. We've got a fantastic European pedigree. And, you know, we've got that, I don't know, that heritage behind us gives us something, always gives us something going into big European games.
Yeah.
No, Paul.
No, you're wrong. No, we win the Europa League, and in 4 years' time, no one's going to remember whether we finished 7th or 8th in the Premier League. It's going to be the year we won the Europa League. That's just that's just how it works, isn't it? You know, ultimately, you can kind of forgive a season of unoptimism or, you know, a poor league result. Teams like West Ham, Leicester finishing above you, because we got a trophy, and we almost got a League Cup. League Cup's the worst of the trophies to excuse that. You still remember it. Is that the year? Where did we finish that year? Oh, but we won the League Cup. Definitely, if you win a European trophy, especially one that now carries with it a Champions League place, doesn't matter. So, quite rightly, we've thought about that as fans, and quite rightly, the players will be thinking about that. These players want to have trophies. These players want to have medals to the names. Yep. Winning breeds winning. So, win, go out and win, and like dynasties, to use that word, but like regimes and like time periods of football clubs are based on the fact that they win something early on, and then it kicks in. The other thing with it is we should be confident because we beat United and Dortmund to get here. Yeah, let's forget about going to Southampton and throwing away a 2-goal lead and getting beat 3-2. Forget about 2-0. If you just look at this cup competition, we did an amazing group stage because we didn't get beaten in the group stage.
We're the only unbeaten team in Europe, aren't we, this season?
So, and then you've gone and took out Man United, who an average all right, Man United still going to finish above us in the league, and it's Man United. Yeah. That was a huge game, and that was a massive one that could have gone either way. We actually convincingly took them out of the running. And then the Dortmund are a better team than us. All of the outside Klopp stuff on top of that, and we took them out. Yeah. We should be confident. We should be flying for this game.
Absolutely. So let's have your trivia question for this week then. 4 former... no, sorry, he told me to change it. Did I change it? No. 4 Liverpool players, past and or present. Yeah? giving away one there. I've also played for Villarreal. Name them in the comments below. We'll tell you who they are at the end of the show. I just following up on what Aubrey's saying there, because for me, this needs to not be another glorious failure season, because and kind of what you're saying about like no one remembers 6th or 7th or 7th or 8th or whatever. Fact of the matter is, we've lost one cup final. If we don't get to the final, or we get to the final and fucking lose it, this is going to be another one of those loser seasons where we're going to have to pick ourselves up off the floor again come to summer and whatever, which would be easier with this manager. But all to say, I'm so bored of us. We've had too many of them in recent years. We need to just go on, drive, win the Europa League, and then no one will give a shit about the fact that we didn't win the League Cup, and then ultimately no one will give a shit about where we finish in the league.
I agree with that. I think, I want, from a personal perspective, that Dortmund game was the best game I've ever been to at Anfield. From atmosphere to the game itself to the opposition that we've played, everything about it will live long in my memory, and that game will be forgotten. It won't be classed as one of those amazing European nights if you don't go on and win that. It
doesn't become an Olympiakos if you don't go on and win the Champions League.
So I wanted to live for that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that was just fucking superb. And beating Manchester United in the first tie between the two clubs in Europe won't matter for anything if we get knocked out by Villarreal, because that's what will be remembered.
No, it's true. And like I said, going back to the League Cup as well, I think about 2004, 2005, no one really remembers that we didn't win the League Cup that season. I know when you go, of course, we all know it, but no, we don't really think about it, because ultimately, Istanbul absolutely just looms large over the entirety of that season. No one really remembers that we were shit in the league that season as well. We were badly inconsistent. We couldn't put a run together. We finished below Everton and blah, blah, blah. It's remembered because of that glory. So that's what it's on. The onus is on the players. And as the fans, enjoy it, go out there and hopefully get a good result in the first leg, if nothing else. The one thing that we do have going for us to some extent, Chris, and you kind of touched on it, Villarreal actually haven't won a game since they got through the quarters.
Yeah.
So they lost to Rayo, lost to Real, and they drew with Sociedad. And as you said, do you reckon that is just simply a case of, look, there's no real pressure on them in the league to actually perform, so the players are focused more on the Europa League?
It could very well be. Without sitting down and watching all of their games, it's tough to say. But if you take their record back a little further, they've only won 3 games in the last 11. Now that is probably before the quarterfinals as well, so I don't think they're in the best form in general. Obviously, they'll be stepping it up. We'll play a team who will turn up on the night regardless of what form is, because that's what's going to happen. It's a semi-final of a European competition. They will step up. I think it's good for us that they've struggled for goals over the last few games. I think Roberto Soldado, we all know him. He was obviously drawing a blank the other night.
Well, there's interesting talk about
Bakambu's. He's got 22 goals this season.
The interesting talk about Salgado, I was listening to like a Spanish expert talk about him, and he plays more of like the 10 for Villarreal this season, rather than like, obviously he was a centre forward primarily when he was brought over to England. I really want him to be that example of, like Raul was when we dicked Real Madrid everywhere, and he got back into this incredible vein of form, and they were like, oh look, he's going to come and dick you in the eye, which is actually verbatim what the Real Madrid chairman said at the time. And we're like, no, he's garbage. He's well past his prime. I'd love us to them to have loads of expectation on someone like Soldado, and us just to absolutely
struggled against English defences. Well, look, they play a 4-4-2, don't they? And that's what they've been playing over the last few months. And you're right, Soldado's been the one behind Bakambu, hasn't he? And Bakambu, as I say, he's 22 goals this season. He's banging form. We need to be worried about that, and especially with the problems that we've got with Mamadou Sakho, it's massive who partners him, who partners Lovren. Sorry, so it's either way. I think this is going to be a good game, but it's definitely a game that Liverpool can win, and we should be going out there to win.
It's interesting as well, isn't it, in terms of how we approach this, because by all accounts, Villarreal are a counter-attacking side. It's whether do we go out there and look to, we know they're going to sit back, do we go out there and look to blitz it and get what we need to do, or do we say, well, hang on, if they're not necessarily going to come and attack us away at their home,
yeah,
but that's their stupid. That'll be their stupid fault. Let's sit back and soak it up and come away. If we can come away with a 0-0 draw, would you take that from the first leg?
No, I think you need a goal. I'll take a draw. I'll take a 1-1 or like a 2-2. I think we've seen a lot of the away goal. The away goal helps. We wanted. You both definitely wanted Villarreal, didn't you, when the draw happened? I wasn't that bothered about that or Shakhtar, but we all wanted to be at Anfield for the second one.
Yeah, cool.
It only matters that you've got that perceived advantage if you go and get an away goal.
Yeah.
If you're struggling, because then ultimately all of that advantage dissipates because you give them the goal. If you've not scored to level it out, they only have to score, and we've seen that we do have a mistake in us.
That's just for anyone who doesn't understand the away goals rule there. Thanks very much for that, Aubrey. Just for clarifying that.
But you know what I mean? We do have, like, if we draw 0-0 and then we take it there and Mingele comes and doesn't read across, suddenly we're massively up against it, aren't we? So I think we should go there to expect to score, hopefully expect to win, but definitely, you know, like, we should be looking to score. So if they're a counter-attacking team, I think we can be quite cute with it. Maybe force them into having to play it, so not really go fully for it. We have been starting quite slow recently, but I'd expect second half for us to get into the flow and actually really, really take it to them.
I agree with Aubrey. I think we need to go and take it to them and think, you know, sort of building on what you've said, a 0-0 for them is advantage them in their eyes, and they'll feel buoyed by a 0-0 because they've not conceded an away goal. Whereas even if they win 2-1 and they've conceded an away goal, it will feel like they've lost a little something. And I think from a mental perspective, you need to get that away goal just so that they're on the back foot when they come to Anfield.
Fair play. I'll go line for line, word for word. Who the hell plays at the back for us?
Well,
Lucas?
Mignolet, Klein, Moreno, Lovren, and then there's a bit of a debate about the next person.
Yeah, exactly. I think it looks like a straight. Well, actually, not even a straight toss. It was a three-way fight between Martin Skrtel, Kolo Touré, and Lucas Leiva. And we were talking on the final word show that Skrtel's probably not match fit.
So it's a choice between Kolo Touré and Lucas.
Well, I think it's still a choice between the three of them, if I'm honest. Because let's be honest, Lucas Leiva's done an admirable job at centre half, but
he's not.
Would you trust him in a game of that magnitude?
I'll tell you what, I'll put my fucking balls on the line for this one.
Why is it with all balls?
I don't know. It's just loads of YouTube comments. They force you into it. I'm going to say right now.
Don't do that.
Shop. I'm going to say right now that it's going to be Lucas Leiva, and I think that the midfield is going to be Milner and Allen, and then he's just going to go for the win with Lallana, Coutinho, Firmino behind Sturridge. And that's it. He's going to go and try and score goals. And fucking...
How did Chris come to this? Check out the Start 11 prediction show to find out whether you'd even remember that you've said that.
I've remembered.
Oh, yeah. So it is an interesting one, isn't it? Because I think it's the Lucas conundrum to some extent.
Yeah.
Because I kind of want Lucas at the base of the midfield for this game. You know, just to have someone there who sits in, who knows his business inside and out. But that is because that is a very... If you put like an Allen Milner... with those in front of him, that is a ludicrously attacking team. There's no defensive midfielder in that team to speak of. They're all centre mids and wingers and attackers and forwards. Oh my! But
sounds good, doesn't it?
Any chance of Stewart playing?
Look, I don't think so. But you know, there is a chance that he will play.
I don't think he's.
I think Lucas was playing holding mid if Sakho wasn't suspended. If that makes any sense. Yeah. I think if we were sitting here and Sakho thing hadn't happened or it hadn't broke yet, you were like, yeah, Sakho and Lovren the partner and Lucas will be in the holding mid with Milner next to him or something.
My thing is that we've just been counter-attacked to death by a relegation-threatened Newcastle United side at Anfield, with Stewart and Allen.
Yeah, there's extenuating circumstances though, isn't there? You know, you've just said that they're relegation threatened. We weren't playing for that much in the Premier League in that game, whereas both teams are going to be up for this.
I think,
but I don't think.
Well,
I don't know, but I don't think. I think counter-attacking it's irrelevant because you're going for the goal one way or the other. We were caught out of position because we were trying to beat them. I don't see that whether it's a more important game or not doesn't mean you've got more. Does it mean you commit less?
No, I think it does, to be honest with you. I think that there's something in the back of players' heads where they're thinking to themselves, I've got to be fit for the next game.
You've just said go for it.
I am saying go for it. That's what I'm saying, but you can't say that on Saturday these players aren't thinking about making sure that they're fit and available.
Oh no, listen,
and that's why it's different.
100%, but what I mean is the logic that we are... Newcastle was somehow more... It was more dangerous or whatever against Newcastle?
Newcastle were more up for it than us, is what I was saying, because of their position in the league. they had more to play for than we did on Saturday. I think that's obvious.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds well. We fall into a very unusual position here, don't we? Because, as you say, Lucas Leiva, Martin Skrtel should, by all accounts, whether he's 100% match fit or not, he should, if he's fit, he should come back in for this game because he's technically the senior centre half, isn't he? But that makes me feel unhappy inside. Queasy. But look, Skrtel has played on the biggest, some of the biggest stages for us. He's played in those big games. He does have the experience. I just don't know. I don't know whether him and Lovren is a partnership I want to see at Liverpool Football Club. So there's definitely some question marks. Your thoughts, please, in the comments below on that. Is there any chance Sturridge won't start this game?
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to go Firmino, false 9.
No, I can't see it either.
Yeah.
You?
No, I think I agree, but I think that it exists within the realms of possibility.
It's not
because Sturridge has just done 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's not like we've not seen that before. We've seen it in some pretty big games. Again, we keep referring back to them. They were a while ago now, away to Chelsea and away to Man City. So it would potentially, I don't know if it messes around with the defence, but if Lucas was to come into that holding mid, it allows you to get Allen, Milner, Coutinho, Firmino and Lallana all on the pitch if you drop Sturridge because Firmino plays that false 9. I think from what we talked about in the final word, but for the Newcastle game, Firmino's not in the best of form. Sturridge is. I think Klopp's managed Sturridge really, really well. He's managed them, has returned back the stuff he's come out. I think Sturridge can take being dropped and not playing and Origi starting in Dortmund. If suddenly Daniel Sturridge isn't starting and he's the only fit striker at the club, Villarreal for a European semi, it starts to think in his head, this guy doesn't trust me, this guy doesn't want me, and he's such a confident and such an insular in his mind type player, Sturridge, that I think that would pretty much be an indication that Daniel Sturridge doesn't have a future at Liverpool, and he'd probably take it as that. I think he has to start. I think he has to start and he has to score, and hopefully he will.
That's an interesting one. I personally would start Sturridge up front because as I say, he's in the form, and if you're looking to get a goal, well, he's the guy who's going to get you a goal, quite simply put. But that being said, if you've got Origi's not going to play again this season by all accounts, there's a chance Ings might be back for like the last game or two from what he's saying this week. But Benteke's due back at some point, isn't he? But you're going to rely upon him. There's a case of maybe go and play Firmino up front, go back to what you do because we know we can play good football in that. Keep Sturridge wrapped up, maybe bring him on for 20 minutes, half an hour at the end of that game if you want it when they're tiring or whatever, and have him 100% fit and fresh for the week after. I'd be honest, I'm not that arsed. I'd be happy both ways, to be perfectly honest. Ultimately, the results will be dependent on my happiness more than anything else. Man of the match prediction then, Aubrey. Who do you think is going to be the key man for Liverpool on the night?
Off the back of that, I'm going to go Daniel Sturridge. I'm going to think he starts, and I think when we let him score. If he scores early, maybe bring him off because we've talked about, he doesn't really do much after he's got his goal, which is just the type of player he is. But it's massively important. Hopefully he runs them ragged. Hopefully he sees this as a chance to announce to the world that actually I'm back. You kind of forgot about me. I'm a very, very good striker. I'm going to get Liverpool.
He's been getting all the plaudits, hasn't he, in Europe?
I'm going to get Liverpool to the final.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Phil Coutinho. Okay. I think he's going to come in and he's just going to fucking dick them in the eye, to be honest with you, Paul.
Amazing.
I think he gets 2.5 goals, because why not?
Sure. Is that 2 and an assist?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
It is now.
Yeah, it is now.
2.5 goals.
It is now. Lucas Leiva for me. Again, because I think how the entire team is set up is dependent on where we use him. And if he has a good game, because if we play him at centre-half, he needs to have one of those heroic centre-half performances where he just turns everything in. Not into his own goal. I mean, in terms of leaves nothing on the pitch, that kind of stuff. And equally, if you put him in defensive midfielder, he's the platform for which everything grows from. If he has a good game, I think we'll come away with a really positive result from that. Let us know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Score prediction?
2-2.
Ooh, okay, I like that.
2-0 to Liverpool.
Fucking go ahead, Chris. Yeah. Oh, there you bastard. I've been quite good at my positive predictions of late. Yeah. Let's have let's go 2-1. No, fuck it. Let's go 3-1 Liverpool. Let's do it. Let us know your score prediction in the comments below. Do you want another trivia answer?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, I already
I
did.
was going to say, nicely acted that you don't know what it is because we did discuss it before.
Tough
so
one, though.
4 Liverpool players, past and present, have also played for Villarreal. It is a tough one. One of those still plays for Liverpool right now. Pardon me, that's the reaction I get from Jose Enrique. There you go. Little mini sick. Jose Enrique is the first one. Jose Pepe Manuel Reina, whatever you want to go with, is the other one. And then 2 fullbacks. Hosami Ray, apparently was his name I discovered off LFC History Net before. Hosami. And Jan Kronkamp as well. So there you go. If you got that right, good on you. Big back slap for you. Thanks for watching the show. See you soon.